Boys, we are back, baby. We are back, and oh boy, do we have a fun game to talk about and react to this week after the Lions beat the Tennessee Titans, who is a professional football team, 52-14. Just an absolute ass kicking. It looked like an Alabama versus like some school that they pay to play Alabama and come to Alabama to play them just to get their ass kicked. This was just an absolute ass kicking up and down, and we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, let's introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew that is here. I am Big Z. Let's get to the rest. We got UJ.
Greetings, Lions fans.
And Red Dog.
Yo.
And our producer, Kid J, is here as well. He might chime in every once in a while. So, gentlemen, 52-14. I mean, if I told you the Lions were only going to throw for 94 yards and be outgained by 150 yards on offense versus what the Titans produced, you'd have been, I'm not sure about that. But it turns out the Lions special teams, huge difference maker in this one. Kalif Raymond, 19 yards short of the NFL record for return yards in a game. Oh, so close. And then a turnover by the special teams. I mean, just an incredible performance on the special teams, but defensively as well, creating turnovers, 4 turnovers in the game in total. UJ, I'll throw this over to you first. Just reactions to this, your initial reactions to everything in this game.
It's weird how this game went because we were starting to pile on the score late in the first half, and I still felt like we were not playing a good game. And yet the score is just going tick, 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 tick. Like you can almost watch the thing just like a meter just running. The score is going up, and I still felt like we weren't playing that good, which is a weird feeling. Like the defense, we allowed a couple long runs, which atypical of our run defense. We were not getting good pressure on the quarterback for a while there, and just in the beginning, it looked a little shaky, if you will. But as the game progressed, it just was wow. It was just like I don't know how you describe it, but man, it's just like we could do whatever we wanted, literally. And our defense, like I said, I thought we weren't playing good, but we started turning the ball over, creating turnovers. We had short field position constantly. Our offense was just whatever they drew up worked. They could have dropped plays in the
whatever they want.
It was incredible. Just a really fun game to watch from a fan perspective. No pressure. I didn't feel my gut churning all the time, waiting for the big play. Dude, it was just
kind of boring in that regard.
It was just kind of a fun break for a Lions fan, I guess.
Another game where the Lions had more touchdowns than incompletions again, by the way. So it is wild what is going on and how easy they're making it look. Like Ben Johnson is just scheming these guys like open by 10 yards routinely. Especially in the red zone, just a lot of open. Now, I think we were playing a team this week that gave up in a lot of ways, like early on. They traded away a couple of their best players early in the week, and that seemed to affect their desire out there. I don't know, but it was bad. Red Dog, what are your initial reactions to this game, though?
It kind of reminds me when I play my buddy in fighting video games, like fighters, when you 2D, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, like I'll think I'm doing great, and I'm just like giving all these great punches, kind of like they were getting some nice pressures and sacks early on, and then I realize just as time goes on, he's just settling in and destroying me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing really well until I realize, oh my god, I'm getting wrecked, and that's kind of I think all the Titans felt in that game. They gave us a nice little flurry. It was high energy out the gate, like they kind of punched us in the mouth, but this Lions team, it's just like when a big guy leans on a small guy, eventually he's just going to crumble. Like you call this a trap game? It was like a trap game in the way a mouse trap is a trap to an elephant. Like this game, we just, we stomped on it, and we stomped on the Titans, and we did our business. It wasn't all pretty. I think, they had some good players, and they were playing hard, and some of our guys lapses in concentration here and there, but overall, just we outclassed them by miles.
Yeah, and I mean, like you guys mentioned, this game starts off with Lions three and out to start the game. It's like, oh boy, and like here, like this is a classic trap game type thing, and then they come up with a nice pick. Nowaski with the pick, pressured by Unzurike on the play.
He had a great game.
Oh yeah, and then they turn around in 2 plays for a touchdown. David Montgomery, beautiful run. I don't know if you saw on the David Montgomery touchdown, Penei Sewell took Jeffrey Simmons and plowed him 9 yards backwards into the end zone. That's like one of the elite run stoppers in the NFL. Penei Sewell just completely wrecked him on the play. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
He's the elite tackle in the NFL. That's the difference right there. Not one of top dog.
Fair enough. And then and the Jahmyr Gibbs run too, just a beautifully blocked play. Just a nice double team on the left side from Decker and Glasgow. They plowed the nose tackle back, took on the linebacker. Nice little backside help. I believe it was, I want to say Laporta on the backside block, but then it just Gibbs' speed being the safety to the sideline, and then it was over.
His speed was outstanding. Did anyone see did they do a next gen like miles per hour? He had to be hitting like 22. He was going so fast. He burnt the angle on that safety. That safety had a decent angle on him, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
You're right. Past running backs we had on this team would have never made that edge, We might have got a 6, 7, 8 yard gain out of it. Gibbs turns into a 70-yard touchdown. Just incredible talent.
He reached a top speed at 22.03. It was the second fastest.
Oh, man. That's just like
there's
so awesome. Go ahead.
Second fastest speed by a ball carrier this season. Only Brian Thomas of the Jaguars, who ran 22.15 at one point on a end around or something. Wow.
I knew you had to be going fast, man.
Oh my God!
And also in this game, if I have the stats up. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the first Lions player with a receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games since who we think? Who do we think?
Say that again. Say the question again. Sorry.
Amon-Ra St. Brown
is the first player. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the first Lions player with a receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games in a season since who?
Oh, Amon-Ra St. Brown last year.
No,
that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. I steal you, Jason. I'll answer, but I thought it was a good one.
Calvin did it in 2011.
Oh, that makes sense.
I thought it was an obvious answer, but I guess not.
A lot of good receivers in this league.
Sorry, Calvin. We don't mean to forget you.
Oh man, but this is just before we get in the offense or a little more about it. Just we have to go to the special teams first because. Kalif Raymond had his breakout game of the year.
What a game.
But 72-yard kickoff return from Khalil Dorsey, then Kalif Raymond, 64-yard punt return, then a 90-yard punt return. They generated 262 total yards in returns, and with Raymond having 190 of those.
Wow.
He should have had 2 touchdowns, too.
Just wow.
That one, he didn't realize that guy was slipping up behind him. If he kept just going to the sideline there and tried to beat the kicker with his convoy, I think he scores. Which, whatever. It's not like it was consequential, but still, outstanding day. He's the only player in NFL history to receive a receiving touchdown and return a punt for a touchdown in the same game. Only. He's one of one.
Oh, I didn't see that stat, but I love it.
Yeah. And so that's a good
super
stat.
stud. I love it. I love Dan Campbell's homage to him after homage. Go ahead.
I love the post game with Dave Fitz.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, first of all, I love that guy. I love all his interviews. He's just such an interesting character, and the way he talks and his just demeanor. And he was just ecstatic, and I was so happy for him getting that, and his praise of this team and his players and his love of the game of football and Dan Campbell.
I love how
I loved it.
I love how he bookended it with God on both ends, though, just to make sure the media can't cut it out. He's like, I want to thank God, and then at the end, he's like, thank God again for being here. It was good.
He's just a character on that team, and I don't know if people appreciate him enough.
He's fantastic.
So when you see those interviews, TroyLions.com puts up every week. You got to watch the FIP interviews; they're always entertaining.
He's one I'm so curious about where his future lies, because to me he seems like an obvious person to like groom for maybe an offensive coordinator position eventually, and like he has that like I don't know, kind of that weirdness that Ben kind of has. He's kind of like got his oddities, and he seems really smart, and he has like a ridiculous amount of attention to detail on special teams. I mean, where else do you go? Maybe a head coach?
If I had to guess, I think he likes where he's at.
I mean, forever? You think he's hit his ceiling in his career? Well, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, you don't often see a special teams coach, especially at his age, move to an offense coordinator or defense coordinator position at this point. If anything, they would move to a head coach after being special teams. There's some beliefs out there that special teams coaches are the best head coaching candidates. Like John Harbaugh on the Ravens went from special teams coordinator to head coach because they touch all three phases of the game. Like they're working with everybody on the team, basically.
Right.
So that kind of gives them like the opportunity to have ownership over 53 players at once, rather than like a defense coordinator only has half the team, offense half the team. Obviously, there's many factors that go into that, but so if anything, head coach. But I personally think he will be there as long as he
a lifelong special teams.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere. He just gives that off. Like the vibes to me.
He might be. Some people find their niche, but I mean, he's just excellent at what he does. Usually, people like that tend to go places.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it kind of speaks of what like Ben Johnson did this offseason. Like the Lions have built such a good culture.
They want to stay.
Yeah, they want to stay. Like they're thoroughly enjoying their job.
Right.
And to leave that, like. How does it get any better than the current culture and environment that they have in that building? It probably won't for many of them.
Did you see how Ben described it when he was asked about it? He said he wanted to stay in the sunshine just a little bit longer. I think Dan Campbell is kind of like that. He's like the damn sun, and people just want to be around him. Like Ben might be a great head coach, but he's not Dan Campbell. And I think being around Dan Campbell and working for and with Dan Campbell, like I don't know, like I could see it. I could see a guy like Ben and Phipp and these guys, maybe even AG, like doing kind of like Dick LeBeau did with the Steelers all those years. He stuck around and really just made them a consistently dominant defense for a long time. And I would love. Could you imagine if like this staff just stayed intact at the top and like that could set up ridiculously unprecedented success? I think.
Oh yeah. Now I doubt. I think Aaron Glenn really wants it badly. More even so than Ben Johnson.
Do you think he's been offered legit yet?
Glenn?
He's been interviewed, but do you think he's actually been extended any offers to?
No, I think he would have taken it if he was.
Oh, so you think he's just hasn't had the opportunity yet? Whereas Ben, like everyone assumes Ben's been given the opportunity too. Do we know he's ever been extended a job offer?
Well, he hasn't because he's shut it down before it got to that point. So,
right.
I think the Redskins are ready to make him an offer. Their whole ownership team was flying to Detroit, and then he shut it down before they came. So, no, he sees Jane Daniels out there. I don't know. Maybe he's he's kind of wishing, but because I mean, it worked out for the Reds or Commanders because it's going really well for them this season to start at least.
Looks good.
And I want to talk about it later, but since I just mentioned it, I'll bring it up really quick. There is a difference in this, just within this division even, but really when you talk about culture and the difference it makes on the field and wins and losses, I think a really good emphasis of that is last week we played the Vikings, right? I'm starting to lose track of all the.
Yep.
Yeah, last week was Vikings.
Titans.
So just look at last week. Look at how we defended the Hail Mary, and from roughly the same position on the field, we blitz 5 guys. First of all, we take a timeout, we assess, we come up with a game plan to attack the Hail Mary. The Bears, they don't take a timeout, and all their players were complaining about the coach not calling a timeout and getting them time to set up properly for the Hail Mary. And second of all, I don't know if you saw Tyreek Stevenson, the safety on the Bears.
Oh yeah.
Jarring with the crowd in the middle of the play, and then he turns around and he's like, oh shit, like the play's going, and then he's the one that ends up tipping the ball to the guy. It was his guy that he was supposed to box out. They caught the ball.
It's just a bad look because it went against him. Like if he goes over and knocks the ball away, like no one's gonna give it.
But either way, I'm talking about
like he was there. It wasn't like it's like say what?
But do you think the Lions would have a guy that's doing that in the middle of the play? I'd say no way. I think there's a difference in culture and accountability, and I I think.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I just think those two plays kind of show that, especially from like a game management, just even a game management standpoint. And when all the players come out and question your game management of the coach, they didn't like. Oh, we trust Eberflus no matter what. Nope, they were questioning his coaching today, and all the comments like, "Oh, we were tired," and so.
Well, they gave him the easy 12, 15-yard out to get him
right.
in.
It's the almost obvious thing. I don't know why
we did the exact opposite. We rushed on the first one, or not. We gave him all the time in the world on the. But we gave him no, we didn't do the exact. We gave him all the time in the world on the first one and let him eat that clock. And then the next one we blitzed and gave him no time. And like that's all the Bears had to do different was blitz on that second one like we did, and they probably win that game. You can't we've seen it. Aaron Rodgers same thing. You can't give him forever because then it breaks down the entire structure of everything, and that whole end zone becomes a scramble. And like, if then you just allow crazy things to possibly happen like that. And I think that was brilliant the way we executed. And I felt like watching that game. Right. I'm like, that's how we used to be. Like we would have been that team only like 5 or 6 years ago with all the stupidity happening, us blowing it.
Right.
Well, like the famous Rodgers pass, which I never can get out of my memory.
Which one?
And then
which one? The one when Cliff Averill got the bullshit face mask or whatever, and then
that's the one.
There's only one Aaron Rodgers.
No, there's at least two against us. I think he has at least two. He's done it, but
he's done it against other teams, but not us.
Feels like he did it repeatedly every year.
He did it this year with the Jets.
I'm
he did it
scarred
against
by
the
Aaron
Giants.
Rodgers.
He did it against the Cardinals.
He did it against the Cardinals.
That was a playoff game. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
Are you sure he didn't do it to us more than once? I feel like he did, but
it just feels like it.
Probably because I see it all the time.
They do play it a lot.
Yeah.
They do play it a lot. But getting back to this game, the Lions go up 7-0 right away. They trade a couple punts. Then the Lions give up a touchdown. The defense wasn't great in this game. Despite the
2 touchdowns,
score.
4 turnovers.
Right, they gave up 266 yards. Well, Calvin Ridley was burning him early in the game.
Ridley had a good game.
Yes, he was.
And Rudolph did a good job getting the ball.
And it kind of speaks again to, we had the one sack, we did the pressure on the interception, but we're still not getting enough out of the edge, the Hutch hole. I don't know what did you guys think of Campbell's comments? He was kind of like a giddy little schoolgirl talking about like getting an edge rusher.
He was.
I know.
He was. That was so
jumping
weird.
up and down the podium. I don't know, maybe.
Could be.
I thought he was just having fun with the reporters with the silly question he's heard 1,000 times.
It seemed a little different than how he normally responds to things. So.
Yeah, I thought he's having fun.
I just wonder if they got something cooking.
Clearly, our thread thought he had fun. Everyone, 7 people posted the same exact tweet in our thread today. Right back to back to back. I think maybe there was a dead horse being beaten. I don't know, but... I will say I listened to it and I thought it sounded kind of like he was just like having fun with them. Like, is there an imminent trade? Like maybe in the next 24 hours? He's like, could be. And then he said, like, are you seriously? He's like, and he's could be. And he was like, I thought he was joking with him. But you never know. Dan's a crafty man.
I sure would like to.
I'm sure he's in a great mood these days.
Crafty, but I would like to see. I would like to see.
I mean, I think I would too, but I don't like. Obviously, I trust whatever Brad and Dan decide. Like. If it's sitting still, it's gonna be. I just don't because I don't know what the market even is out there. People can list all the names they want that they think are available, but things have to line up in a certain way, and like not every guy is gonna fit our mold,
right?
And not every deal is actually on the table. So it's like I trust what they'll do. It probably will be a little underwhelming to most people because like personally. I love watching Trevor Nowatzki develop. I love watching some of these guys. It sucks. We drop like flies, freaking Rodrigo out. But I like the talent we have on this roster already in a lot of ways. Could we use a little more top end help, like a Hutchback, obviously? But I think I'm curious to see how this develops. Even
on
if
the Rodrigo front, it looks like it'll be a minimal injury. He might only miss a game or 2 at the very most. So that's good news. Finally, good news on the injury front.
Yeah.
It scares you when they're carting a guy off, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
They initially thought it was a high ankle sprain, which would have been a lot longer. But
that Arden Key looked good against us. We should have traded for him in that game. Everyone's been mentioning him.
So, I mean, the owner of the Raiders came out and said they're absolutely not trading Max Crosby, which drove up his value even more for the Lions when they eventually trade for him. But
We're not trading for.
I know. It's not going to happen.
I don't really even want him at this point. He doesn't want to leave the Raiders.
Josh Uche, from the Patriots, he got traded to the Chiefs. So that's another target that is gone now. Now Zadarius Smith is a very popular name. He's on a $1.3 million salary cap hit. It's very minimal. He's 33. He's on the older side. He is a veteran, though. He doesn't really move the needle for me.
Me either.
I mean, it's better than what we have, to be fair.
Depends on what you get him for, because someone said a 4th round pick, and I just can't even
maybe just went for a 6th rounder.
5th
so
or
I
6th.
highly doubt a 4th, unless there's some serious bidding war going on.
Maybe that'll help, because Zadarius Thomas, like you said, is very underwhelming in terms of better than some names out there, but not really many. He doesn't excite me at all if we get him. I mean, he'd probably be better than who we have in some cases, but
a couple other names that still seen thrown out there, outside chance maybe Myles Garrett.
That would be sick.
Now the Browns haven't come out and refuted trade rumors like the Raiders have about Garrett. So I think there may be something there for a 3 first rounders type of deal, a Khalil Mack trade. Would you do 3 first rounders for Myles Garrett? Yes or no?
3?
Negative.
I could maybe begin around 2. I could maybe consider, but 3, no.
How about 2 first rounders, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th rounder?
Oof, that's a lot of resources. Maybe more 2 and a 6th or something. Man. I couldn't. You already give him 2.
A first rounder now and another first rounder.
I mean, you will consider that these are going to be late round, first round picks, but
yep.
I 2 I could stomach, and maybe a little extra sprinkling on top. But 2 is already a ton of resources. I mean, but if you had Myles Garrett for a couple of years with Aiden Hutchinson, you'd be looking at maybe the best defense in the league for those years. So
that's true.
It's going to cause issues. We Onzarike, who's playing great, is already looking like someone we might not be able to re-sign. There's going to be things like that, but you'd have Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett. So you can afford a little bit of weakness elsewhere.
A couple other names floated out there. Jadeveon Clowney, who
I'm good.
He would actually
I mean, if you got him cheap as hell.
I mean, he's a pretty versatile edge rusher.
Does he got grit, though, Z?
I haven't watched him this year to know, but I couldn't tell you.
Sorry.
This year?
I lost respect for that guy when he was in college, when he basically laid down his last season because he didn't want to get hurt. And how else do you explain the fact that he's bounced around the league on how many different teams?
That's just the contract that he signs.
Yeah,
he's always
definitely
underperformed.
A talented player, there's no doubt. But I question his heart.
Well, if he comes to the Lions, maybe a little motivate him a little more. I don't know. He's still
if
talented.
We get him for the right deal.
Who knows?
He'd be better than what we have in the roster currently from the outside. I don't know about him as a locker room guy or anything. I haven't heard anything bad about him as a locker room guy. So,
I mean, just physical talent-wise, he'd be better. But I don't know if he's a better player than the guys we got.
Emmanuel Ogbah is another name. Baron Browning is another name I've heard. Also, the aforementioned, from a few podcasts ago, who we played this week, who did not have a good game in this one, Harold Landry.
Harold Landry.
Nope.
He did not have
a
good
game. That kind of goes
us.
To my motivation thing. The Titans as a whole, they did not look motivated.
Against Sewell, though.
I thought Landry might be motivated,
but he went against Sewell.
Maybe he didn't want to
let off against Decker.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
I will say though,
it
doesn't. I don't get the sense the Titans are looking to scrap their defense the same the way they've moved pieces on offense. For one, DeAndre Hopkins, already I felt like that's a good resource to move. He's an aging receiver. You're not going to be able to take advantage of him in the short term. Might as well move him for some nice resources while he's still got some tread on his tires. That offense is where they clearly need a lot of help. That defense is pretty stout. I would probably start building there if I was them. Why scrap what's already a solid unit, at least in the front seven? That D line was stout, man. They were tough. They gave our boys on the O line a tough day in some cases, and so I mean I don't necessarily see them as a fire sale on defense, but so I'm not sure we'll be able to make a move for any of those guys for that matter. Especially Arden Key makes plays like that, then you probably want to keep him around.
You can always make
Well,
moves
that
if the
too.
price
But
is
what
right.
are we? Dan's expressed he's not in any kind of panic, so it suggests our prices aren't very high.
We're recording this on a Monday night after the game, of course, on October 28th. The NFL trade deadline is on Election Day, actually, on November 5th. So, what will be the bigger news? Who is the president or the NFL trades? I'm going to go NFL trades.
If we get Myles Garrett, then it'll be huge.
Depends on the trade, I suppose. Hey, at least the deadline's like 3 o'clock Eastern or 4 o'clock Eastern, one of those. So we'll get that all the way in the day.
What about the Trayvon Walker? Has there been any like rumor that in that realm? Because
I haven't heard him, but too much since I mentioned it a while ago. But that was more just because an ESPN article said it was just something they thunk up. No, I don't know. I'd be down for that though. Still,
I think that could be a lot like the Montez Sweat. Because I think they're very similar players. Like trade for the Bears because he's just one of those big, freaky, strong dudes and with elite physical traits who isn't necessarily like Aiden Hutchin with all that like finesse and like nuance to his game. But like when you're that size and that strength, you can just kind of dominate tackles. I mean, look what Sweat did. He went from that deep D line in Washington to coming to the Bears and becoming a stud for them.
Yeah, I mean he was a stud in Washington too. That's why they traded for him.
Well, his pass rush was always kind of like. Well, he is. He's just a freak on the end. He's not the best pass rusher, but he's so damn big. He just gets some kind of funny wins where like he's just strong. But I think Walker's very similar in that way.
Yeah.
So getting back to this game a little bit, David Montgomery throws a touchdown pass as well to Florida. Beautiful throw. He likes to mention that he was a quarterback in high school. If you talk about any podcast, he loves to talk about it.
That was the best spiral by any Lions quarterback since Stafford days right there. That was a perfect
So he's
spiral.
1 for 1 on the year throwing the ball. He's got a perfect quarterback rating. Jared Goff still has no interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Monty. 85 yards for Goff this week. 85 passing yards.
Yeah. I don't know why everyone's so excited about Goff. His running back and wide receiver both have better completion ratings than their percentages than him.
Even Jack Fox, I think, too. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But Goff was still, 120?
Yep, well, he threw was like 13 for 15 or something like that. He didn't do a whole lot, but he did what he did well.
Yeah.
12 for 15.
But one thing that bothered me a little bit, he did take some hard shots in this game, especially early on. Decker had probably the worst game I've seen.
Decker got toasted
in a while, pass blocking wise. He got toasted a few times, and I mean he was great in the run game, and I think our whole line was. I
think Goff was feeling a little bit like I don't know, like he had thought he was Mike Vick or something out there a little bit too. I thought he tried to do a little too much with his legs in that game where if he should have just got rid of the ball. Like that one where he ate that 30-yard sack where he got tweaked his ankle. I thought he was trying to do too much. Which is fine. I don't want to totally discourage that in him because generally, you want that not give up attitude and just throw it away sometimes. But he's got to get rid of it sometimes. And that one, he got caught trying to do a little too much, I think. And our O-line was a little leaky early in the game.
Yeah, you might be right. That's where you take a lesson from Brady. Manning took some of the lamest laydowns for a sack. It looked like he was just scared.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just smart. I mean, you're not going to run these guys. Just take it. Yeah, he took a beating in this game a little bit. So I hope he's okay. I think he will be. His ankle and stuff, and he played after that. So I'm not too worried about it, but he did take some hard shots, which we have to try to avoid.
I think they tried to pull him earlier, and he wanted to stay in too. I heard something like that, because they definitely could have. He probably didn't need to play any of that second half. I honestly, my most disappointing thing in this game is that Hooker let me down and didn't score the requisite 4 touchdowns to hit my prediction. So I was disappointed in Hendon Hooker in this game. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I was hoping he might do a little something out there, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, they're just running the clock.
And,
out,
when you go in at the end, it's not like he just replaces Jared Goff. All those linemen and receivers are swapping out. He ain't playing with the first string out there, and it shows.
But you got to admire the way and Campbell said it in the post-game speech, how they kept the pedal to the metal. And they have to do that even against bad teams, like it's in the third quarter, and I think they were up by 40-something. And then that pass to Leaf was just a brilliant play design. God, it was just so brilliant. I mean, everyone thought Monty was running this thing in, right? And it was the most beautiful fake ever, and Leaf was wide open. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff, man.
It's a lot of fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch.
At the right time.
Actually, I don't know. I was almost bored by the weaker, inferior opponent. Like they made it interesting for about 5 minutes in the beginning, and then we just kind of were having like playing backyard football the rest of the day.
But our reality is skewed right now, though. I mean, this team is so good, so we play a bad team.
We do what we're supposed to do.
I mean, other good teams, like you take any other really good team in this league right now, and they play the Titans, they'd beat them, but it'd be like 31-17 or something like that. We scored 52 points.
It was
nothing.
easy.
Yep.
It was just
easy.
Flowing football. Our defense was opportunistic.
The Lions are fourth in points per game this
at
year.
short fields.
The Lions are fourth. The Lions are fourth in total points scored this year, and they've played one less game than everybody else in the top 10. So,
hey, was our longest drive in that game
Amazing.
the Gibbs touchdown? I think it might have been.
yeah, for sure it was.
Oh, that's speed.
I think it was.
Oh, so beautiful.
It's a lot of fun.
So beautiful.
And also, Jake Bates made a career-long 51-yarder in this one as well. I just want to throw out that
He's moving up.
Another
he did.
plus for the special teams this week. So
yeah. Dorsey showing. I mean, I know we mentioned him, but like that was just nice to see. Like he's a legit threat out there.
Definitely.
Bates has one missed extra point this whole year, and that's the only miss of the year, right? If I'm not mistaken. He is playing. The kid, I like the kid. Zach,
I was talking about him before they
early,
signed him.
before the season started.
I
know you
well,
were.
he was kicking 60+ yard field goals.
And this kid is
other league, so it was kind of
just a natural transition.
Yeah, it wrote itself, kind of.
Yeah. I hope he gets a chance to kick that record kick
That'd be
eventually.
Cool.
I think he's.
I mean, it's just another thing to add to the Lions' fun offensive
cool.
list is let's kick it. Let's beat the NFL record for longest distance. He could definitely make a 67-yarder.
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely. Someone's going to do it eventually. Might as well be our guy.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Reeder played decent. He was in the middle there, anchoring pretty good. Alima's looked, it was active.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else I just want to mention for
me. I mean, Jack Campbell led the team in tackles, 11 tackles
Campbell
this week,
played well.
He's all over the field. He's been getting better and better
played very
as we
well.
go along.
But do you know Levi got rated like 80+ on PFF? Like he got the highest rated defender. Like man caused a pick. So
I didn't get to dive into it too much, unfortunately, for this episode. But I love to hear it. I think my favorite play arguably was Kirby Joseph just like running full speed on an interception.
That was a great pick.
It looked like a locomotive just like came into the screen all of a sudden. It was Kirby Joseph with the pick. Like talk about reading the eyes of the quarterback and attacking.
Man.
Oh yeah. Yes. Our safeties are so opportunistic, man. I mean,
I think France got picked on by the refs a little bit in that game, if you ask me. I think that one on the goal line was utter BS call on the pass interference. It was perfect defense is what it was.
Yeah.
And they gave him a freebie.
Well, I mean, the Lions have two of the top 3 interception leaders in the NFL with Kirby and Brian Branch. Kirby with 5, Brian Branch with 4. Now, Green Bay, Xavier McKinney, has 6, and the Lions and Packers, obviously, playing this upcoming week. So, if there's someone to watch out for, it'll be probably
I guess we'll
Xavier
just
McKinney.
have to run over them instead of throwing it.
Yeah.
Throw at them on purpose. We don't have let Amon-Ra go off.
Amon-Ra 2 catches and a touchdown. I mean,
so weird.
Yeah, 2 for
it's
7.
Such a weird game, though. Like, and then Laporta had what?
Yep. Every touchdown was by a different player in this game.
It was good to see
every
him
touchdown.
Catch the ball.
Sick.
How awesome is that, though, from a team standpoint? I know these guys aren't going to be padding their stats, for that next contract. It's too bad, but from a team concept,
wait a second.
man, it's so beautiful passing.
You're wrong,
spreading the wealth around.
Sorry. Are you talking about offense?
Oh, Khalif Raymond. Sorry, too.
You got the double.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
On offense, it was
Yeah.
everyone. The
Sorry.
Goff spread the love.
Yeah, Gibbs,
yeah.
Montgomery to rushing, then Laporta, Raymond, Brock Wright, and Amon-Ra with a touchdown receiving. So
Both our top 2 tight ends on tight end day
Amazing.
got touchdowns. Freaking amazing.
hey, even Isaiah Williams
Yeah,
got a
that's
catch
right,
in this
tight end
game.
day.
Hendon Hooker got a little bit of time in.
Who?
Two for 3.
That's
6
right.
yards
Isaiah was
passing.
active in
He
this
did.
game. I
Yeah,
missed
he had a
his
catch.
catch. When?
Did you turn off
he
the
got a
game?
catch at the end.
Oh
He had a catch
man,
at
I
the
think
end.
my focus
Turned it off.
weekend we were just dominating so much.
They didn't get to 70 like you predict, Red Dog, but they're getting there. They're getting inches closer every week.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they're doing freaking amazing. You know, in the last 4 games, we have like a whole extra game worth of points ahead of like the next. Like we have 34 more points scored in the last 4 games than the next highest scoring team.
Well, I believe it. They're having
It's crazy.
40 plus points a game.
And the
so.
thing is, we didn't
That's pretty
just, it
wild.
wasn't all scrubs. I mean, unless the Vikings are just the ultimate pretenders, which, hey, you know, it might.
Well, they
I
were
agree.
scrubs. They
Was.
were
We
5-0.
we broke
That
them,
was a good
though.
team.
I don't. Every
we
team that plays the
Tampa
Lions,
Bay was a good team when we played
loses
them.
the following week. Thus far.
Honolulu flew, baby. I love it. It's
Hey,
the
that is an
best
incredible trend in
betting
the
edge
NFL
in
this year,
football,
though,
ladies
you
and
know?
gentlemen. Book it. Bet against the freaking Titans next week. I mean, granted, that is already probably easy, but you know they're playing. I think the Patriots, who aren't great either, so it don't matter. They're about to lose. It sucks for them.
Yeah.
It'll help. Maybe that'll loosen them up for Landry or Key. Maybe send them our way.
I mean, just a fun game overall. Unfortunately, it's not like a lot to dive into because it's just an odd game with a lot of special teams. But just on the return from Kalif Raymond, I mean himself keeps pointing out that Anzalone had a great block on that one to kind of spring him free at the end there. I mean, obviously, when on a return like that, it's everybody, but it's just cool to see. Like, you have this guy out there for 50, 60 plus plays, and he's also out there laying the key block on a punt return. So
I love Dan Campbell's like accounting of like the acquiring of Leaf. Like it's like almost like a father who's like talking about when his like son was born. Like, it's hilarious. It's like he's just it's so great.
I was going to mention that how awesome that was. Him talking. That guy bounced around to a few teams. He was undrafted free agent, bounced around to like 5 teams, and then the Lions picked him up. Well, they tried him out, right? And they asked Campbell what he thought.
No, he showed him film. He
showed him film of him. Yeah.
This kid's got something. Oh, film. Okay. And just wow. But Leaf, to his credit, man. I mean, this kid he's been versatile,
he's
solid, just
workhorse,
man.
Like
on this team.
Did you see it? You remember like
during
camp?
guys.
Do you remember camp? It's like they're all challenging to be who's just more focused. It's like there was that one where he was mic'd up during camp and he's already talking about how the coaches aren't focusing enough on the drill and he's like then he just goes through with utter intensity and you can just see that, man. Like you're right, he's not alone on this team, but he's definitely one of the exemplifiers of just the culture and the grit and the determination, the work ethic, the focus. The dude is just there's a reason Dan Campbell loves him so much. It's not because he's just fast or he's got great talent. It's because that dude is bought in every way Dan has asked him to and leads the pack in many ways. He's just like a stud to have. Like we lose J-Mo, it's like, oh, whoop-de-doo. We got Leaf, baby. You stepped up big.
Yeah, it's just really fun to see. This has just been a blast being able to watch. Like you just sit down and you're like, we're gonna win this game. How by much? How much? I don't know. But like I don't go in I did not go into this game at all worried. Like we are just, I think, that good of a team. This is by far this team's better than last year. I think that's for certain.
If anything, Z, I'm sitting there during the game like, y'all get any of that like anxiety? Yeah, I get it. Like, I need my fix of like anxiety and nerves because this is like too easy.
Well, last week had it.
Yeah, right.
Well, they borrowed some of this week for last week, but
your eyes just like, oh, the Lions got another fumble. Oh, Meek, baby. He even got like a little like credit to replace like the peanut punch. A Meek Peak or something. What did he say? The announcer.
What?
One of the
I missed that
announcers
one.
during the game because like he had 2 forced fumbles with punch outs and And the announcer, I forget who they even were, but they said like, "Oh man, they had the Peanut Tillman punch. Well, now it's the Amik peak." I think. That doesn't make sense, but
I like it.
He played great though, and he gave up that one touch. I think you give Amik like a gut blow early in a game, and he just ascends. Like there was that film when we traded for him or we signed him, and it was that game where like the receiver beats him real bad and then does like a little short man gesture, and Amik proceeds to like just make his life a living hell for the rest of that game and like just shuts him down, forces fumbles, crushes him in the flat. And this game, he gets beat by that Ridley touchdown, and he causes 2 forced fumbles to make up for it. Like, dude's good, man. If he was a little taller, he'd be an elite top end corner in this league. He's just got that short man syndrome, but it makes him nasty.
Oh yeah. So we'll see what happens at the trade deadline. But if we want to, we're going to turn it down to episode. Yeah. So just to wrap up what else happened in the division. So Minnesota loses to the Rams on Thursday night football, 30-20. Controversial face mask call at the end of that play. That was not called. It was clearly a face mask. Not that they probably would have gone down and scored anyways, but nonetheless, we'll never know.
That ref had the under.
Yeah, we're fine with that call. We're fine with that call. Right. We're fine with them losing. We're not going to lose sleep over done drinking.
I mean, Kool-Aid. It was foretold. They already played us last week, so you knew they're losing this week.
Right, exactly. Stafford looked really good in that game, but
he did.
Sure.
The Bears obviously losing the Hail Mary, just hilarious, just absolutely hilarious fashion. I had money on the Bears and I didn't even care. Like I was fine with how they lost. I was just laughing.
So fun to see all the reactions from the
Bears fans. Just so funny.
It's crazy though that they're melting down. Like they're 4-3 now after a game they should have won, but like they melt down that like this. Like you were talking about culture earlier. Like regardless of the little shenanigans, like of that guy like looking up into the crowd or whatever, they lose that game. And then they show doubt, they show weakness, they turn on each other. That don't happen to Dan Campbell's teams. We lost a game we should have won against the Buccaneers. It was that okay. On to the next one. Like Dan Campbell has this team fully on track, and like even if we slip, we know they're gonna react and they're gonna come back. And they're playing such damn good football right now as a whole team, and that's why they're the best team right now. I mean, like honestly, like. The Chiefs, like right now, it's the Chiefs and the Lions in the NFL, and and it's because they're the 2 best actual full-on teams, not just because they have the best talent, which they kind of do, but they have everything. They're all rowing together.
Well, on Good Morning Football, they were arguing about that this morning. Who's the best team in the NFL, the Lions or the Chiefs? And a couple of people said the Lions because of their thoroughly dominating fashion and the way they're playing right now, and their offense is just like on. This is like they talked about the greatest show on turf with the Rams back in the days. The Lions may surpass that. We just haven't come up with a nickname for it yet. But but then the other argument was that the Chiefs. A couple of guys thought the Chiefs were the best team simply because they're undefeated and they're winning even though they're not playing great. And there's an argument to be said for that, and they played a couple good teams, and they're still somehow pulling games out despite not playing well. And you can argue however you want, but I just think just as a dominating football team right now, the Lions, I think, are just the best team.
I would agree. I don't know how you can. The Chiefs have been like eking out these ugly games left and right every week.
Yeah, it means so little. Like honestly,
a win wins a win in the NFL, and they're undefeated, and they're the defending champs. So.
All you need, what do they know? Right. What does Mahomes and Krew and Reed and Krew proven time and time again? Make the tournament. It don't matter what the regular season looks like, and so like, and you got to think that team who's been through it all. They're not playing emotional edges. They're just going out and trying to execute. Like I think the Lions are doing it better overall right now, but the Chiefs have a lot of talent, and so. They're winning every game because they just are the consummate professionals, and they're playing teams who have weaknesses.
So rest of the division is, well, I guess I mentioned the other two. So Green Bay, they squeak out a win against the subpar Jaguars. Now it was on the road. It's always hard to win on the road, but they did not look super great in that game. Jordan Love played hurt a lot of the game. He has a groin injury, so that's something to monitor throughout this week. week. So Malik Willis played the second half. He actually looks pretty good in that offense. Not gonna lie. He looks like a he needs to be drug tested or something. He looks like a completely different human being than the one that existed in Tennessee for the last couple of years.
Well, after what we just saw the Titans, it's not a stretch to think that maybe they weren't the best place to develop a young quarterback.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a whole new coaching staff there now.
Yeah,
when he was there, but
I feel like they're idiots. Like they just abandoned Vrabel at the first sign of like issues. He had that team playing well for a long time. I thought.
Well,
they get rid of their best running back.
There's more a difference in ideology about how to move forward between him and ownership, I guess. Vrabel and the Titans. So
that's a great highlight to why the Lions are so special, because Sheila's got this thing humming from top to bottom.
Oh yeah,
she chews the people.
So as the standings are, the Lions have a 1-game lead on the 1 seed right now. So a little extra breathing room. The Commanders are in second. But, of course, the big game is the Lions and the Packers this week. If the Lions win this one, they'll have like a game and a half cushion since they beat the Vikings in terms of the head-to-head. But the Washington Commanders, the rookie quarterback, are hanging in there. And they have a pretty decently easy schedule the rest of the way. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him.
That kid over there, their quarterback, he has that kind of like he kind of gets it. Like some of these, I think that like some scrambling quarterbacks make all scrambling quarterbacks look better because they make it look easy. And he's one of those guys that just kind of seems to get it. He knows how to buy the right time to find targets downfield. He's not making spectacular 80-yard runs with his legs. He's running around and throwing the ball downfield to open receivers. That's what Mahomes does. That's what the really good ones do. And I am impressed with him so far. A guy like that gives you a fighting chance.
Yeah, you know who doesn't quite have it yet? Caleb Williams. Missing a lot of easy passes.
There's also that
easy. They're like easy throws. Now he also makes some spectacular throws, but
he's got an arm.
Far from consistent. He's not as bad as Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback. If you want to see how it can go south fast, watch him.
It was already there. They just didn't pay attention to the signs. They looked at his freak athletic. No, they looked at his freak athletic potential, ignored his absolutely trash stats in college, his terrible accuracy.
Do you want to know his stats from this week, though?
Yeah, let's hear it. It's probably
10 for 32, but 175 yards passing. So he completed a couple.
Right.
He completed a 70-yard pass. It was just and they lost by 3.
Sometimes coaching don't matter. You can have all the physical talent if you don't have the right wiring.
He took off a play because he was tired.
It kind of reminds me. Do you remember the year we drafted Calvin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Jamarcus.
Do you remember the year we drafted Calvin Johnson?
Well, that was
who was the quarterback of the Raiders? Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell. Well, this kind of reminds me of the same thing.
Down
Jamarcus
on
Russell,
60-yard line.
Couple, heaves in the college
from his knee
or something. He could throw an 80-yard pass or whatever. We got to draft this guy first. Thank God the Raiders took him. Thank God. Otherwise,
I don't know. It would have been kind of funny to have and Mike Williams. It's like two like a receiver and a quarterback that could both transition to tight end because they ate so many Big Macs.
Maybe the Lions organization would have whipped him into shape.
Yeah, right. That organization was top notch then too.
Yeah, right.
Calvin can tell you how great it was.
Only Matt Patricia could have brought a Jamarcus Russell into the building. What history could have done for those two? They just really grind that guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
The great Matt Patricia. Yes. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Matt Patricia.
Thank you.
I believe his 4-wheeler is commemorated in the Lions Hall of Fame.
Let's wrap it up here.
Not that bad.
So, of course, I want to thank our producer, Kid J. Kid J. We're crushing it every single week. We want to thank SidelineReport.com for supporting the podcast. Apple, Spotify, wherever your podcast. Please download, please subscribe, please leave a review. Really appreciate that. Catch us on our social media. That's at Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid on Instagram. Twitter/X at Drinking Lions, and then of course on YouTube, type in Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid or at DTBK_Lion. Subscribe to the channel, be alerted when we go live or if we post any videos up there from our podcasts. Otherwise, we will be back later this week. Probably releasing an episode on Thursday, previewing a big matchup where the Lions travel to Lambeau Field to start off the month of November with a victory in Green Bay to move to 7-1 and try to lock up this division as quick as we can.
A radical hot take prediction right now, Z.
A radical hot take. Okay.
I predict that the Blue Kool-Aid crew will predict favorably for the Lions in our upcoming predictions.
That is a bold prediction right there.
Call
from
me crazy.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We greatly appreciate you. And thank you for coming along this ride on this Lions Super Bowl 2024-2025 season. We greatly appreciate you. And last but not least, as always, go!